Hello everybody, this is Benjamin Bloom. I got well and truly caught out at the end of the Ipswich Barnsley game. I filmed my video, and then as soon as I'd filmed my video on the match, put my phone back on because I was using it to film, and there was the news that Mick McCarthy had actually walked out, resigned, done, finito, finished, I'm getting out of here, as he said in his last statement. That news came through, so I thought I'd just do a video purely reacting to that. Little bit of a surprise. The way it's all gone down, it's just kind of been, some kind of Shakespearean just falling apart type thing, his reign. So we knew his contract was expiring. It rumbled on and on. I'll choose what I'm going to do. Do. Things came to a head, I think, in the whole game at Portman Road. Ipswich losing 3-0 at home to Hull, and the crowd really, sparse crowd Tuesday night, really turning on Mick, and it got quite nasty then. So then we get this announcement at the end of March that he's going to leave at the end of his contract, and that's kind of stage one of what's happened. Then we have the Birmingham City game, which was a bit limp and seemed a bit strange, and Mick even admitted that himself. Then we had the Millwall game, which was kind of fun and all over the place, and 2-2, and we saw a young guy come in and two wingers and a bit of flair and a bit of attack, and you kind of thought, oh, it might be fun for the last few weeks, and he might toss away some of the restraints that he's kind of known for on his teams. And then at Brentford on Saturday, it was just so limp, and again a little bit nasty as he's going off at half time. Cheerio, and then he sarcastically claps, and then apparently, I left, but apparently some stuff at the end of the game with maybe some players sticking up for him. So it came to tonight's game, and they've actually won tonight, and not, a win's a win. Barnsley kind of fell away a bit at the end, but he mentioned, it's funny actually, in his interview, he said, "You can see why I'm going," and he mentioned the Barry Cotter. So he takes Barry Cotter off on his debut. There was boos. There was Mick McCarthy, what a wanker chants as well when that happened. But big applause for Cotter, because he kind of contradicted himself. He said, "You can see why I'm going," and that reaction was pathetic. And then he said, oh, he's been thinking about it for a few weeks. He said that he's like a caretaker boss for his own job, and he felt like he wasn't in any control. So he is going to obviously clear his desk, get his stuff, and he's going to be done. In some ways, I wouldn't want to go to work if all my customers didn't want me. I know I'm leaving, so in some ways it makes some sense. I suppose all of the conspiracy theorists are going to be saying, oh, he was waiting, maybe he was waiting for a win before he went, and he was going to, because he did say, I came in on a win and went out on a win. Maybe, is that relevant? Maybe that's a bit of posturing, bit of ego there. Some people will say, oh, has he been waiting for, maybe there'll be some news that we actually get a new manager before the end of the season. I'm not sure about that. Maybe he was waiting for a point where it was close enough. I don't know. But it was all a bit up in the air and all a bit kind of treading water. I went to the game tonight thinking, oh, really? Do I have to go to the football again? So it had kind of got like that for everyone. Still maintains that all the players and all the staff still kind of keeping that divide between, oh no, all the players were on my side, none of the staff wanted me to go, so still keeping that divide between him and his staff and the fans right until the very, very last. Be very interested to see what happens now, because the one thing our owner, Marcus Evans, has been accused of is inactivity, resting on his laurels, not doing anything. Well, sometimes people only make decisions when they're forced into them, and now he's actually forced because whether he hires someone before the end of the season now, someone has to manage the team on Saturday against Nottingham Forest. And in normal occasions like this, the manager goes and the assistant manager does it, but you would assume Terry Connor will be out of the door with him. So Marcus Evans is going to need to clear his diary and figure out what he's going to do for Saturday, whether there's a caretaker in charge. I mean, he needs to put someone in, and whether a new manager comes before the end of the season or he waits until the end of the season. I mean, we did suggest on the podcast that, you know, it would be good to get someone as soon as possible because contracts need sorting out. He can look at loan players that are here now maybe to bring them back, and, you know, the sooner the better, really. So, going to be a very, very interesting few weeks now. Is there somebody already lined up and they were just waiting to get them? He's given Mick the word. I don't know if it's like that, but as I say, we'll see. You would assume someone from within, possibly Gerard Nash from the under-23s, maybe Brian Klug, George Williams works there. Someone will be put in charge for Saturday. And then I suppose the search has already begun, but it would have been a search for someone at the end of the season, whereas now it's, look, the job is open and you can come in, which is probably better, isn't it? Rather than, oh, there's a job for you in however many weeks. Evans has to act now, which is probably a good thing. Lots of names. I don't know how serious they are, whether they're just bookmakers' names or press names, but we hear Maurice Stein, Danny Cowley, Nathan Jones, Steve McLaren, Alan Pardew. They're the sort of main ones. Tony Mowbray, Shefki Kuki. Lots and lots of names there. I'll continue to peddle the same line I have done and say I don't mind who it is as long as the supporters get behind them and the club becomes united and not management against fans, because that's just been really rubbish for probably 18 months now and has just chipped away and away and away. Both sides chipping at each other, and it's just not worked. And it's kind of proven that wherever you are, you can't take on the fans. You won't win. They're going to be there longer than you are. They're the kind of lifeblood. There's more of them than you. Ultimately, you may have more authority than them, but it's kind of proven that it's just not a way to go to take on the fans when you're a football manager. So I think there's been resistance to Steve McLaren. I think just the reputation from England days and recent stints at Derby and Newcastle, but I would say they're both have both proven to be slightly basket case type clubs. Mark Warburton, a lot of people like for his work at Brentford. They'll say Rangers was a basket case as well, coming back up the Scottish leagues, and that he didn't get enough time at Forest. I would implore you to watch our podcast with Billy the Bee from Brentford for some great insight on Mark Warburton. Mowbray would be the people's choice, possibly been here before. Maurice Stein from Holland would be the kind of exotic choice that nobody knows anything about, and just a big change. So there's a lot to be said for all of the characters. They'll all bring something. I just think people want a change, and they should get behind whoever they get. So that's about the size of it. Be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of days. The sooner he names a caretaker, that buys him time. So expect that to be maybe it's Tuesday, late Tuesday now. Maybe I'd expect that to be done by Thursday, and then we'll see the plot thicken from there. Be really interested to know in the comments what you think. First, how the club have handled it. Secondly, how Mick's handled it, because he really kind of had no choice now to do what he's done and get out. And thirdly, does this change anything in someone coming in, and who do you want? I'm going to go to bed and post this in the morning, so be really interested, and usual, please comment and thumbs up and subscribe, and really interested in everybody's thoughts.